So you've gotten, far enough in your life that you've navigated things like this before. And if you think about just your own sort of kind of breakthrough moments when you feel like you've been able to make headroom, either if not on these and on other challenges in the past.
Yeah, let's go with that then. I will stop immediately. Over here? Yeah. Okay. I will stop. So it's like a pulse check, like, okay, what's going on in this moment? How would I prefer to be feeling if I'm not thinking clearly? It just kind of gives me a reflex to kind of quickly point to like what's off. And if that goes on over a course of a week, then like a weekend might be a great time to think about, well, why was this week so stressful or whatever.
So you pause and you also reflect
yeah.
and notice how you're feeling or how you have been, or
yeah.
If you want to capture that. What is it that you tuned into? What are you trying to notice?
It is kind of stillness. Like I feel like the core of me is kind of like it doesn't move, and so when I move further away from that, like I'm agitated. So when I reflect on what's pulling me away from that sort of center, then it's usually a pretty good indicator that I need to change something. And when I can't figure it out, I look outside, not literally look outside of a window, though maybe that might help. But I try and think about, if there's human-centered challenges, then someone somewhere else in the world has probably faced them. And so I'm trying to look for other sources of inspiration. Okay.
Look outside for inspiration?
Yeah, and I guess along with that is sometimes it just means I need exposure to like relevant stories. Yeah, I've got a stop and start sort of reflex. For example, like I wrote down health, and if I feel like I have some activities that are getting in the way of me being able to go to the gym or eat right, then I know I need to stop or limit those activities and take an immediate step in that area. And then on the start side, I need to start doing something that is going to get me in the direction. So that's a quick one.
Cool. And what helps you start successfully or stop successfully?
It's the frustration, it's the pain. It's like you have a choice. It's either you can complain about something or you can do something about it. And I'd rather not sit on one side of just complaining. So that's enough drive for me just to try something new. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I get back into here and figure out what other options there might be and try something new. It's just try and see what works.
Okay. And what is, and that drive is about, what's kind of focusing that drive for you? You said frustration.
Yeah, I've got this, and maybe it's grandiose, whatever, but like I want to create as much impact as I can in leaving like the sort of legacy that I want left behind. And like when I get pulled away from that, or I feel like I'm encumbered, I feel like I'm not fulfilling what like my grand scheme of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another piece of this, it sounds like, is coming back to that legacy, or kind of feeling the fuel or frustration around your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Whatever that drive is.
I guess another way of looking at it would just be like purpose.
I've asked so many people, this question, and worked with so many people as a leader, as a coach, as an educator, as a parent, as well as my own experiences, and seeing that, like you, I think people, whatever big things that they're hoping to do, really are just so many little things, really, that make us and make it the things that we're trying to do. And in order to navigate those things, there's a lot of things that we sort of naturally do sort of at our best. When we do sometimes break through, even though a lot of things are on our minds, we have overcome things. And these are some of the things that people do. But there's also, we get off track, right? It's hard under, even though we're born doing a lot of these kinds of things, it can be hard to get back to them. What I've seen is that, so some of the things that you're doing here is you're seeing the past and present in new ways.
Okay.
Does that sound right, maybe? Sort of noticing what's happening, being really present to what's happening, so that you can see the future in new ways. Look outside for other ways that this might happen,
Okay.
and something concrete that you might do. So from details, something that you can stop and start, to the big picture of what's my mission and what could I do. So this is kind of the space that you're really exploring when you are breaking through something. You're able to see either what's happened in new ways, the current situation in new ways, see what could happen in new ways, and you're able to do that both at the detailed level and at the big picture level. And I find that all the things that people do really kind of fit into these spaces. At the center of that is sort of people. A lot of what you're kind of talking about is either yourself, being able to tune into yourself, or other people, but who are all the people that are involved in what it is that you're experiencing. And then from there, always centered on people, being able to see the past and present new ways. The details means being able to discover observations really concretely. When you're reflecting, you're observing what's happening, why, with me right now, over the last week, right now, is what you described, I think. And then being able to zoom out from there and, just like you talked about here, defining principles about what matters the most and why. And then being able to dream ideas, literally looking outside beyond what you normally think about, looking for inspiration about what could happen, and often pulling other people in to do that. And then finally, figuring out very in the details, what can you stop and start? Designing experiments for yourself. What's a way to try this bigger idea? What's something concrete that I can just do? And so that's the space. Should have drawn these lines at the beginning, but able to span this space from seeing the past and present in new ways, to seeing the future in new ways, from the details all the way to the big picture, always centered on people. And so that is a compass that you naturally sort of know because you're experiencing it. And I've had the opportunity and the need, I should say, as an educator, as a leader, as a designer, as a parent, to learn a lot of different processes that help people navigate all these different kinds of challenges. Because when we're born able to do these things, like I started to say, we're able to, like little kids, right, will notice everything around them. They'll look at it in different ways. They have no shortage of ideas about how to do things. They're super imaginative, and they're not afraid to try things. And it's not really so much that we lose it as much as it gets really hard under some of these pressures to keep being that sort of curious, playful, experimental kid. And so there's all kinds of processes that will help us do this, like help us work on our health, or help us work on our habits, or our families, or team dynamics, or everything else. But what I found is that all of those processes have some really fundamental questions that we share with the way that we intuitively work. It's these questions. They're all really trying to help us come back to stretch in these ways and answer what's happening and why, what matters most and why, what could happen, what's a way to try. And so my work has been, in the last few years, as I work with people really wanting to sort of empower them to come back to their own inner compass, as well as the sort of most powerful kind of common ground of all of these different really powerful processes out there, in a way that is crazy concrete, like just super simple and really powerful, really concrete, and really flexible, so they can use it any way they want. And so that's where the idea of a compass has come from.